And I will make how I promise in the other uh, other time, other life, last life, and last week, chapter 9 in English only, to be echo in Portuguese. In Portuguese, I said 2 lives, I think, in one. And I don't know if it was so clear, because I don't understand how I make this 2 chapters in one. I think I jump some parts of this text. Well, in English will be chapter 9 from Castle in the West. This book I received it in year 2013, and talk about the population that passed in this planet, but how was a fantasy, but really they were lived in middle of us. They came from a planet named Capella, a place, I don't know if a planet, I don't know, but is a place in sky named Capella from constellation, Cocheiros constellation, in Portuguese, Cocheiros. And this of these persons, these people, in those times, before this planet have the human race here, these people took various problems in those places they are from. And in Capella have this place arrived in I don't know if arrived is right, but I use this. Arrived in a level of development that people have so much, these bit people, not all Capella, but a bit people in this place had great development, intellectual development, but morally they are how a zero level. Then they transformed in psychopaths without feeling for problems of other human beings. Then people evolved in 2 levels, intellectual and moral, in those planets, with balance, took a resolution to resolve this problem, getting these people and put these people in to help development in other planets, inferior planets. And this would work the moral parties in these people that they renegade in his evolution. And this will force it so hard, this development. And it was happening. How do you think that appearing caverns, old caverns, pictures so much good make it about cows, about animals in those epochs, but that today the normal person don't can make these pictures how they made in walls of caverns with an age, intellectual age from 3 years, the man of cavern. The man of cavern was discovering still how he can use the tool, the schools, to broken stones. How can these people wood can made pictures so perfect, so aligned with a body, a real body of an animal, or bulls, tigers? It's a great ignorance of our part, believe that these old men in cavern would design those way. It's a great ignorance by our party and limit to our eyes and intellect. Imagine another people of another place out of this planet reincarnating, reborn with another body, but the same soul here. For scientists, it's can be, but it's not. Don't have probability to happen. Then science don't can prove, but yes, can. Have still scientists in United States. I think he died. He dead. But Ian Stevenson from a place that studied, and is I think study is still possibility of reincarnation. The same intelligence come from another life and be in another body. Have a book named 20 cases, probably cases of real reincarnation, made by those scientists in the United States. The name of one of them is Ian Stevenson. You can research about it. Then is not so probable. It's not this word. It's not so difficult to have great evidences from child with 3-4 years that is still in this age. Remember the name of the last parents, the neighbors, addresses, entire names, name and surname, and the place. Have case this child run off his house to go with a neighbor city, because they knew exactly the address where they lived in last incarnation before actual incarnation. Ian Stevenson was making a research. Ian Stevenson make this in all world, and with help of all other workers, then it's not so impossible this happen. And the real reason that can explain all these holes in our evolution about where is the link in animal and human being, where is the link? I believe this was made out of this planet. For all things I have read in my life, I believe in that. I'm not a scientist in research, but my intuition and all things that I have read direction to think this way. And the holes in development, how can a human being develop so fast 4 centuries before Christ? With Moses, with Egyptian civilization, and all these brilliant minds and prophets from a bit time that explain all great evolution. The phenomena from ocean open in middle, the phenomena of Jericho's wall fall down with trumpets, have evidence, material evidence, by people that search in those probably area that this happened. They met pieces of wall that was fall down. Have evidences. This I read this in a book that make about the force, the strong of energy of the music. Then I pretend again posted about these books, this book, and Druids was these people, the people that was renegade because they are caused so much destruction and was dangerous for those places, and his spirit was relocate in other planets in evolution with bodies, so rustic bodies, that these people with high level of intellectual evolution would, with his soul, make a fast evolution by bodies in this planet and on others too. It's not difficult to imagine this, because if you remember, South America and North America was colonized by other civilizations from people that was imprisoned in England, United States, and Portugal, Brazil, South America. Then we can see that if this movement happened in those planets, why not from a planet to another? People, spirits material world is a frog, uh, frog appearance from real world in other dimension. This only another face, a palette, a frog uh, appearance that what happened in real worlds. How Jesus Christ said, my reign, my kingdom is not from this world. He said all time this. Then I will continue. We are in chapter 9 about one of principal personas was a priest, druid in those epoch, a woman, and one of these parents, Ingrid, remember how I still a child that with your aptitudes he was an ancient warrior from other eras. Is this I will read today. Before all chapter had a mention from gospel and spiritism. Gospel, second spiritism. And in this chapter have this statement. Reincarnation strengthens family ties. Strengthens family ties. While the uniqueness of existence breaks them. Family ties don't suffer any destruction with reincarnation, as some people think. On the contrary, they become stronger and tighter. The opposite principle, material principle I add, yes, destroys them. We have material principle is we have only one time to live all things. And the continuity of men of cavern into us don't have nothing to see. It's so illogical if you repair in all disasters and all goodness that the man can construct since cavern men. It will be so a selfishness creator to have to govern man only one time to develop man. Is this chapter 9 from the citation is chapter 4 from Gospel According to Spiritism, being born again, Eaton 18, and continue the history. After the important Ingrid, the ancient warrior from other eras, after the important dinner offered to the representative of the neighboring fiefdom, spirits calmed down in the certainty that once again the lord of the castle had overcome the problem as always. till chapter 9 had a mystery that the Lord of Castle had a problem with his neighbor that were claimed more art to him because he affirmed that was divided so with error. The art in inter these five tones were in error. Then this was resolved in another chapter. If you are here now, I say to you, search the first chapter and we'll read it to understand now. After the important dinner offered to the representative of neighboring fiefdom, spirits calmed down in the certainty that once again the Lord of the castle had overcome the problem. As always, the children were playing happily in the back of the castle when the knights commanded by the Lord entered the walls in the distance. They were numerous, reaching 150 men, ones who always stood on the front line of battles, excellent fighters, trained in Rome. And the rest around, and the rest in Rome, and the rest around, and the rest around 300 men who stood in the rear. In those epoch, in another book, the author said the same. In those epoch, all people linked with Rome was obligated to give his songs. The first song, men, of course, to Rome, give studies to this children, to this child, and turned him a great fighter to Rome and other kingdoms linked with Rome. Then this situation, this fiefdom, they were numerous in fiefdom, reaching 150 men, ones who always stood on the front line of battles, front lines, excellent fighters trained in Rome, and the rest around 300. And totally, in those epoch, the kingdom that had so much men in his fiefdom was a powerful kingdom, was a powerful fiefdom. And how much men the fiefdom would give to England had so much influence in all other things. And in this fiefdom had only fighters, 400 and 50 men who stood in the here and in the rear. Then they were very young. At the age of 13, they were taken from their parents, who had the duty of leaving them in the hands of the Romans to train them in battle. The firstborn sons and the strongest, who showed good coordination and dexterity with spears and swords, were chosen. Then we can suppose that was a test, was a choose to prepare only the strong and good in coordination, etc. They were handpicked by the officers when they came to take them away. When they finally completed their commitments to fight in a certain number of battles, they were then released to return to their homes of origin. In the fiefdom, they participated in battles aimed at defending and expanding the borders. When they entered the castle gates, the children would run out, enchanted by the armor and attire of the horses at the front, with large, very sharp lances, helmets, and gleamed in the sunlight with enormous plumes on their summit. Red symbolizing the main color of their flag. The main color of their flag. Of the child's and swords and engraving of the dragon and the cross of Saint David could not be missing. Meticulously crafted by the Regents, blacksmiths who were skilled in their art. The supplied swords and other metal utensils, so many other regions, and for this reason they were famous and highly sought after. The region's rich mineral resources greatly favored them. Was this too? The region, the mountains, exactly where was fiefdom, was good or difficult to defend the place. When Ingrid came across the Lord for whom she had deep admiration, after being greeted by her, he said to her with a laugh. Then she would turn to Irina, and together they would run to watch them put the horses away in the corral. She said to her with a laugh. I think is wrong with something. don't want if I make certain this. The difficult part is you, with that enormous skirt and those big pink ribbons in your hair, distinguish yourself as a girl. No, it's not this. Not 5 feet on, but a distant lens under English. No. But those other things you want, no. Irina Ingrid asked, don't you want to go to battles? When Ingrid came across the Lord, from whom she had deep admiration, after being greeted by her, he said to her with a laugh, Irina looked at strangely at Ingrid, as if amazed by the no. Irina Ingrid asked, don't you want to go to battles? Well, wild spears and wear those shiny clothes? Let me see in Portuguese. It's most easy and recommended. Let me see, and I will say to you the right. Yes. I don't put this. I will return. I really are, oh my God, really have an error. Are lesson the part of the Lord of the Castle that said to Irina, let me complete. Ingrid ardently desired no difficult. A watch to put horse away in the car. Is here that was less this phrase. Sorry. I will say to you what the Lord of Castle said to Irina. One moment. Here, I'm not have producer, I'm not head director, I'm not head translator, I don't have nothing. Only God and spirits to help me. But it's all that I need, really. Then what the Lord said. Irina have a great respect to Lord of Castle. Was a child and admires so much more than other women child. All those movements from uh, fighters arriving in pomp and circumstance. This led her so crazy. Then, when Ingrid came across the Lord, for whom she had deep admiration, after being greeted by her, he said to her with a laugh, "There is my favorite soldier, Ingrid. If you were a boy, I would have sent you to the school in Rome. You would certainly make an excellent knight." And Ingrid, upon hearing such a statement, was both exuberant and frustrated. For the new, she could never fulfill her dream of going into battle with the elegant knights she so admired, despite her skills being recognized by the Lord. Then she would turn to Irina, and together they would run to watch them. But the horses away in the corral, next to the band. Near the field, they used it to train and stay in shape in case there were summoned by the king for some battle, which happened periodically, not in that fiefdom, but in distant lands under Ingrid's rule. Irina, Ingrid asked, "Don't you want to go to battles, wild spears, and wear those shiny clothes?" Irina looked strangely at Ingrid, as if amazed by this strange desire, and added, "I want to play fairies, make mud pies, decorate my hair, run, climb trees, but those other things you want are for men." Ingrid. This is Irina strange Ingrid when he had this attach. Forget it once and for all, because no Roman will take you to become a knight after seeing you trail body, your frail body, and that you are a girl. Ingrid, annoyed by the remark, replied, "But Irina, if they knew my abilities without knowing I am a girl, he would surely consider choosing me." Was the dream of those child. It still was a first feminist in those epochs. The difficult part is you, with that enormous skirt and those big pink ribbons in your hair, disguising yourself as a girl. The difficult part is you with that enormous skirt and those big pink ribbons in your hair, distinguish yourself as a girl. And she laughed loudly at her dear little friend's thoughts. Ingrid, in fact, had harbored this feeling since a young age, when her aunt Eleba was a sacerdotess uh, by druids in those fiefdoms, uh, when her aunt Eleba had already observed and felt the warlike tendencies in her aura. Ingrid had been an important warrior who fought alongside her husband while also an important knight in a very rustic era, in a village where everyone was skilled with the bow and arrow. She possessed, she possessed tremendous aim and was fearless facing any type of animal or risk situation, such as climbing very tall trees with dexterity, leaving everyone very apprehensive about her mischief. She came from one of the tribes that formed a nearby country, fighting for the establishment of her nation when incarnated in the year 500 AD. In the year 500 after Christ. She was deeply connected to the people. Let me correct this. AC, after Christ. She was deeply connected to the people of the fiefdom as they were reincarnated with her to fight together now for the union of that region, which would be an important representative and model of administration and unity. God, in his wisdom, never leaves a soil to be planted without workers capable of doing it. He provides the means that will unite them, provides the motivation, provides the sustenance of the soul necessary in the battles that each situation presents. It's enough that we always place our actions in his hands so that God may bless them. We can repair, we can note that God have infinite patience with development of his creatures and respect all level of the development of his creatures in determined planet. If this level was medium age, of course, we'll have mentality of medium age and fights and disturbance and principally injustice and errors, because the creator have his development making in levels relative to our population are in development, to name it those epoch, medium age, older age, etc. Ingrid ardently desired to go to battles, for she felt the remaining idle in the fiefdom was not for her. And she grew day by day, observing the knights training with their long lances and their heavy protective attire. Outside the fence that separated the training area, She tried to imitate their hand-to-hand combat gestures, their hand-to-hand combat gestures with the dogs and whatever else she encountered in this situation. Irina would perch in the tree observing, realizing that if she got close, she would be a target for Ingrid, who at those times seemed to be in a trance. Back in the castle kitchen, Scarina was talking to Mirna about a conversation between the Christian priest who was staying in the fiefdom as the lord of the castle. I was repairing here. Have not people that make how to say logging in YouTube. But when I stopped here, the live appeared so much people that was seeing. Then for me don't have importance if you have no one, if you have one. All my things I make in life is based in my conscience. My conscience is my professor, my teacher, my God in this planet. I still have one God. My conscience is reflect of this God. Then, if my conscience is good, I'm good too, with no one viewers. It's not have importance really, great important, no. Back in the castle kitchen, Scarina was talking to Mirna. Scarina was a wife from Lord of the Castle. I think never she said his name in this history. The writer from this history that passed me by mediumship don't reveal me the name of the Lord of the Castle. I think no. Until now, I don't know. Back in the castle kitchen, Scarina was walking to Mirna. About a conversation between the Christian priest who was staying in the fiefdom and the lord of the castle. So, Mirna, I heard with my own ears that the pontiff has witnessed apparitions of people from his family who have already died and even talked to them. It was Bishop Lycurgus who told the Lord while visiting the Council of Priests in Rome. The Council of Priests in Rome. It seems the pontiff confided in him. He also said that as he was prepared for what had happened, he wasn't surprised that it could happen to him. See this? Can you imagine this? Happened in those epochs of Inquisition by a pontiff. Can you imagine this? However, it would be extremely dangerous for ordinary people to start developing such a practice, since they don't have a firm connection with God and could be deceived or overcome by such visions. And in certain case of what all things we learn in Kardec, in Medium's book, we must concord with this pontiff, principally in those epochs. Mirna, already understanding what this could mean, asked, but does Bishop Lycurgus suspect something in the fiefdom? And is he just testing the waters to see if the Lord contradicts himself? Does Bishop is a question from Mirna uh, to this wife of the Lord of the Castle, Scarina. Don't be afraid, Mirna. The Lord is very astute. As soon as he heard this statement, he was quite surprised and said that the Pope should not make such incursions into the unknown as it's a dubious plan to set foot on. Bishop Lycurgus immediately agreed and even said the same to the Pope. Mirna, a little worried, replied, I understand, madam. However, I will warn everyone to redouble their cautions, as we can never know for sure what goes on in the mind of a Christian priest. We know that the Lord leaves us free in our beliefs, and wife and Lord of Castles participated almost of these manifestations that Druids made in a region with veil of smoke near the lake. And then the Druids had ever take care to don't let no one strange people meet the way to take this reunion. Was a monthly reunion that Druids made to receive appointments of a spiritual plane. And the owner of the castle and his wife ever participated, because the Lord of the castle, since he was a child, grew with Eleba that have great powerful with nature, with cure, with plants, and he was a real person that would take a place of a doctor in our days. He made childborns. He made tools, broken tools again, to be entire. He cured various people from venomous animals, and other things so difficult, so impossible in those times to have a care from a doctor. Principally in those regions, so far from the centers of Europe. The lady then embraced Mirna and added, don't forget that when I lost my first child, before he was even born, it was my mother who comforted me when she came from beyond from the annual meeting and explained to me why I needed to have hope and faith. Thus, countless times we were warned of traps that could have destroyed us all. We owe all of this to those warm and loving, wholesome reunions that guide and direct our steps here on this earth of struggles and sacrifices. We know very well that everything continues beyond this life in every ever-growing circle that makes us cleaner and happier. Woe to us if we woe woe to us if we did not know these things. Therefore, Mirna, this is Irina, this is Skarina talking to Mirna. Woe to us if we didn't know these things. Therefore, Mirna, whatever happens, therefore, Mirna, whatever happens. No. Woe to us if we didn't know these things. Therefore, Mirna, whatever happens, the Lord will not abandon the fiefdom nor his people. Having said this, she went about she daily business. I only correct. Let me see. The Richard will stop and we'll read only a bit. Having said this, she went about her daily business, organizing things in the castle, while Mirna thought about paying a visit to Eleba, who was always alert along with other druids to the possible attacks of darkness on the peaceful and prosperous fiefdom. And this finished the chapter. I hope you have a great final Sunday, and until the next chapter. Bye, and have a very start year, a new year with great notices in this region of South America. God bless all.